welcome in everybody. I thought today it would be fun to show you all how we do standard Compote style designs. If you hear snorting, that would be Humphrey on the other side of the door. He's furious that he's not the center of attention right now. For those of you that know us here, you know that Mr. Humphrey always wants to be the center of everybody's attention. All right, so first things first, you're going to start with a little compote of your choice. This is a pretty standard size one for a lot of the centerpieces we do when we're doing our wedding work here. And then I have a piece of chicken wire that I have cut here, which we really prefer working with chicken wire these days rather than the floral foam that you've seen for so many years. Everyone's trying to be a little bit more eco-conscious and use more materials like this these days. So we're trying our best to help out. There's so much waste in the floral world. We really gotta kind of do our part, do what we can to reduce our footprint. Okay, so I've cut a little piece and now I'm just sort of going to shove this into my container, making almost like a little bubble, if you will, over it. I'm still getting used to filming and getting all this together. Luckily, I got Matt on camera today. Say hi, Matt.
Hey there.
Wonderful, wonderful, patient, full-hour kid that you are. All right, so now I have my really thin 1/4 inch Florist Tape. Now I've seen people use washi tape for this. I've seen people use clear tape for this. I've worked with some designers that are just rock stars and really crunch up their chicken wire. And I cut this with a knife. Of course, you can use scissors if you have scissors available. All right, and I'm trying to do this on a bucket today just so that I can get some idea of how this is looking, and hopefully you guys can I go over it this way? Hopefully you guys can have a chance to see it a little bit better when it's raised like this. Okay, so once again, I'm gonna go over, I never make a X right through the center. I always kind of do mine off center. And honestly, this is the mechanic that everybody uses when you see those giant arrangements or even these small arrangements. Everyone kind of does the chicken wire and tape thing to keep them in. And even if you are using floral foam for some of those really, really big pieces, you'll put foam first, then go over it with the cage of the chicken wire and then tape around that. And then you can sometimes even melt the tape if you're using a plastic container with a lighter to the container side if you want it to be super duper sturdy. But this is a delicate little piece, so we don't need to worry about all of that. All right, let me get this extra piece of tape out of the way and throw that in my garbage. Working from the soon-to-be guest room today because it is freezing, freezing cold outside. All right, so we have this all set up and ready to go. Now, let's just start with some greenery for this. We have our mini variegated pit today. And I'm just shoving these stems in here and making certain that there are no leaves falling below the water line because that will shorten the lifespan of your floral arrangements. Cutting everything before it goes in, of course. And this one, we kind of want it to have a little bit of floppiness, a little bit of movement to it in this style. Really gotta sharpen this knife. Not very sharp today. You wanna do that when you're done, Maddie?
Sure.
You can be videographer and you can be knife sharpener guy. All right, so here we go. And we're greening, greening, greening. Now, when I went to the wholesalers earlier this week, I just kind of grabbed whatever flowers I felt like grabbing. I wasn't really thinking too much about how I was working with them. So I've got two options here. I can do like kind of a color riot with all pinks and blues and burgundies and shades like that, or I could do a soft pastel-y kind of one. My pastel one, I was going to put hellebores in. However, those guys, if I can show you, are looking pretty wilty. There was only one wilty one the other day when I brought these in and cut them, but I almost kind of on purpose left them out so that they could start drooping like this, because I'm going to film another video showing you how to revive these flowers when they get to this point. It looks like it's totally shot. Believe it or not, it's got tons of life still left in it. So we'll do that one next. Because of that, let's skip the pastel one. I'm going to go with the brighter colors, I think, just to get started with that. Okay, so it's a fair amount of greenery. I don't want to go too nuts with this. And I'm going to turn it all around and see where we're at. All right. Now, first stems I'm going to use are Delphinium. Love Delphinium. These are actually the Latin translation of Delphinium is dolphin flower, from what I've heard. We love these here. They're really, really beautiful. A lot of our close personal friends and family really adore these florals. So sometimes we'll just put them in a big tall vase. They're a tall, linear kind of flower, so they really do enjoy doing their thing and just being tall, beautiful, gorgeous flowers, rather than being cut down like this. But they have such attitude and such wiggle to them. I mean, look at this guy. It's just like, so they're kind of fun for compotes too. All right, so let's get these submerged into the water. Ooh, this guy's got so much there. Love these. And then another one. This has got like its own thing going on as well. So maybe we can pop this in here. Thank you, Matt. It is so much easier having somebody to do this and hold everything still. Okay. It's really challenging earlier in the week when I was trying to film these on my own. It was not a good experience, but I tried my best. Another wonderful thing about Delphinium is you can dry and press these little guys. They make for beautiful, beautiful pressed flowers. A lot of times, if you flatten them out, you can kind of imagine it looks like a perfect little flower fairy skirt. You can make that like the bodice of a dress. All right, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about making compote style arrangements. So here we go with this one. Maybe that one's hanging back there. Oh my gosh, the head popped off of this. All right, so this is a great candidate for being dried later. Now, Maddie, do me a favor. Zoom in on this guy here. That's where this piece over here just popped off of. But as you can see, they're still beautiful just as is, just like that. All right, now I'm just kind of turning this so I can see the other side of it. I'm looking for a more straightened up style Delphinium in this piece. Still good, cameraman?
Still good.
All right, fabulous. All right. So next flower, let's see, is going to be, oh God, I adore these tulips. These are absolutely spectacular. Again, I really enjoy the flowers that just do their own thing. They kind of have their own agenda. This one has a gorgeous bend to it. Another thing you can do if you're ever dealing with tulips and you want them to kind of have more attitude, sometimes they just want to stand straight up or just curve to one side. You can actually take your knife and give it a little slice over the top of the stem, like little, it almost curls up on you. And that'll allow for the flower to bend its head a little bit more for you. Just a little trick. All right, so this little beauty, oh my gosh, oh, love my tulips. Cut these down. Some people call these peony style tulips. And since these have a bigger head to them, you kind of want to keep them closer to the base of your overall arrangement. Oh my gosh, look how sweet that is. Look at that, it's got like a little baby one. Love it. But yeah, as I was saying, you want to kind of keep these closer to the bottom of your arrangements because they're thicker and heavier. There you go. Oh my gosh, so pretty. And then you want your more spindly, delicate, thinner flowers, kind of extending more higher up in your designs. They really come out very nice that way. Okay, so I just keep cutting. And when we go back and edit this, we can probably speed it up. Right, Mr. Matt?
Yeah, but you don't want to make it so fast that it's just going like you can't even hear them. So
that's true. You think it'd be too tough to follow along if this is like super speedy?
Yeah, I mean clickbait YouTubers do that, so.
Yeah, I don't think we're ready for that yet.
Or people who got to make it into the 10-minute mark so then they can get ads. So anyway,
could be. All right, so as you can see from here, right now we have kind of a nice amount of focal point flowers with these gorgeous peony kind of tulips. And then you've got the really pretty elongated delphinium in there on the bed of the greenery. So next flower is Lisianthus. Lisianthus is one of my favorite flowers. My friend Susan really loves these too. She's a great floral designer as well. I can't use these flowers and not think of that woman, so if she's watching, hey Sue. All right. So here we go. Now, oh goodness, this one's not gonna make the cut because that is damaged. But these ones,
I gotta get a really nice shot of the flowers.
Thanks, Matt.
So then you can have it as like an outro.
Yeah. Matt has always had an eye for floral design. Even when he was a tiny kid, he would point out any imperfections or anything that was not to his liking. And I'm still grateful for that, Matt. You've always been fantastic. Okay. So just keep cutting away. And I'm turning this as I go because it's my goal here to make this kind of an all-around style arrangement. So if you were a guest and you were seated at a table, you'd want to make sure that you had something pretty to look at too. We're always thinking about that when we're designing for our weddings and events here. Is every guest gonna see something beautiful? That's always our hope. From all angles. All right. Lisianthus are a really fantastic flower. For beginner florists out there, a lot of you are wondering if they hold up well for boutonniere work. They actually do. They hold up just as well as your spray roses would. So in a pinch, you could always do that. I especially love these because you get so much bang for your buck. I mean, this particular variety, I think these might be South American. You know, they're a little bit smaller than some of the local ones we get. The local ones are just giant and gorgeous and super ruffly. But you still get a lot of bang for your buck. You know, on one stem, you have not only your beautiful focal point flowers, but you also get the added bonus of these great little funky looking buds on there too. So you can't go wrong
And
with
if you have any questions about what we do or what certain flower things, then maybe we could do a Q&A and we'll answer some of your questions.
Oh, that's a good idea. We're so much better at this than me, Matt. Hot tip, make sure that if you're running a floral business, you have tech savvy kids. They will guide you.
Or individual.
Or individual what?
Or some person.
Or someone, yes, or someone in your life. Thank you. You don't just need kids. You need someone in your life who knows what's going on. All right. Now, it's going to probably get pretty busy if I keep adding. I desperately want to add these scabiosa on, but I think it's going to get kind of busy at that point. So I am going to see where we go with this. I'm going to start with adding some more clematis. That's what this is, which is a really fun flower. I absolutely love the greenery that comes with it. And again, similar to the Lisianthus, you got these really funky, botanical looking little pieces, which I absolutely adore. So we're just gonna pop these in all over the place. Now these are fun. These are sort of like the little, they remind me of flower fairies. They just are the part of your floral design that just sort of float around everything. They're very ethereal and just fun. trying to decide where I want to place these though. It's getting a little bit crowded in some of these spots with the chicken wire. And it always looks easier when someone is doing this. You know, some of you at home might be just getting into this type of floral design and you'll watch these tutorials and say, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? It looks so easy. Yeah. It's really not in the beginning. I mean, I've worked with really seasoned designers and even they struggle sometimes with these chicken wire ones.
Yeah, and the thing is, the cool thing is that you don't even see it because it's being blocked by the things. It looks like other, what's the term? It'll come back to me, but these things.
What, the stems?
Yeah, the stems.
What about them? You don't see the stems at all?
Yeah, you won't see the chicken wire because it looks like stems.
Yeah, it's true. Well, that's a really good point, Matt. That is another thing. You can use the leaves at the bottom like this to kind of conceal all your mechanics and chicken wire that you got going on. And in the end, you can always, let's see, just fill it back in. Oops, I don't like that one there. This one. Let's see. And I'm always moving things around. Feel free to. I mean, just because you placed a flower in one spot, do not feel like you're stuck keeping it there forever. I worked with so many, I shouldn't say florists, but when we're training people, a lot of designers I've trained through the years will say like, well, I put this here, and I'll say, well, move it. If it doesn't look right, just move it. You don't have to keep it there. No one's forcing you to keep that flower in that very spot. If it's not working and it's not cooperating for you, then move it. It doesn't have to stay there. All right. This is so fun. I'd be super excited if I was at a table and I had the chance to look at all of this. Okay, fantastic. So happy looking. Oh, I love these flowers. All right, now I said I didn't want to make it too busy, but I lied. I'm still leaving my scabiosa there. So what I'm going to use next, this is actually a type of clematis as well. This is what happens when your clematis goes to seed. My stepmom actually has tons of these in her garden and they are gorgeous. So every fall I am always on the lookout for these. I absolutely love working with them. They are just so fun. And they dry forever. I spray them with hairspray and keep them for wreaths. Keep them for holiday stuff. They're just fantastic. My neighborhood friends will tell you crazy stories of me going through their recycle bins when they put out the yard waste if they're cutting this down for the season, and I'm always scooping it up. I'm always on the lookout. That would be a fun one, Matt. We should really go out scavenging one day, and I'll teach everybody some scavenging tricks. Okay. So there we go with that.
Can I check the phone percentage?
Yeah. Okay. All right, so starting to fill out really, really well. I'm just about finished here. Oh my goodness. It's good day to be a florist. And another tip, you guys, is just as you're working with yours, try not to ever have anything like dead center. It just sort of messes it up. I always try to make things look like accidental, if at all possible. See, now I still want to, I don't know, it might be too busy if I add these in. We might hold off on those and use those for another arrangement. So I'm just going to go in now, make sure there's no areas where you can see any of the chicken wire. Forgot to cut this down. It's a many cup of coffee kind of day. We're coming to you from Kingston, New York, where it is literally, the last time I checked, 12 degrees outside. So it's very, very, very cold. It's a good day to be designing indoors with fresh flowers because it kind of tricks your brain into thinking you're in a warm place. That's one of the things I think that makes florists so happy. We're always in tune with the seasons, and if you're a florist that's working in a cold weather kind of climate, you can kind of trick yourself. If you suffer from the whole seasonal depression thing, you can kind of trick your mind into thinking that spring has come early. Alrighty. I keep seeing like one tiny more little piece of chicken wire, but honestly, no one's ever as fussy as a floral designer with that type of thing. Okay, so, whoops, I see one piece of tape in there. Still filling that in. Do you see that one spot in that where there's tape? It's okay. If you can't see it, it's no big deal. So I'm gonna just pop that in. Because again, only a crazy florist would notice that. All right. Yeah, I don't want to see any pockets of mechanics anywhere. That looks pretty good to me. What do you think, Matt? Does that look good?
Looks great.
You're the eyes of everything, so. All right. So that's basically what we have for your final product. Basic Compote style design. Stay tuned. The next video I think we're going to film is going to be showing you all how to revive these sad little friends. Don't give up. Don't give up, flowers. They're going to be fine. I'm going to show you tricks on how to actually boil these, which sounds mean, but I assure you no flowers are going to be hurt during the next video. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what we've come up with, please like and subscribe and share and do all that good stuff. And in the meantime, hope to see you next time. Thanks so much, guys.